Social networks, in the context of the digital age, refer to online platforms that allow individuals to connect, communicate, and share information with others. These networks have become an integral part of modern society, shaping how we interact, consume information, and form relationships. One interesting fact about social networks is that the concept predates the internet era, with early forms of social networking dating back to the 1970s. However, it was the advent of platforms like 6 Degrees, Friendster, and MySpace in the late 90s and early 2000s that laid the foundation for the social media landscape we know today. Social networks come in various forms, including social media sites like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, as well as professional networking platforms like LinkedIn. These networks enable users to create profiles, connect with others, and share content in real time. The rise of social networks has revolutionized how information is disseminated and consumed, leading to the democratization of communication and the amplification of diverse voices. As of 2021, over 3.6 billion people worldwide are active social media users, highlighting the pervasive influence of these platforms. Social networks have also become powerful tools for businesses, governments, and organizations to reach and engage with their target audiences. Despite their many benefits, social networks also raise concerns about privacy, data security, and the spread of misinformation. Understanding the definition and impact of social networks is crucial for navigating the complexities of the digital age. Social networks have brought about numerous positive impacts on society, transforming the way we communicate, collaborate, and access information. One significant benefit of social networks is their ability to connect people across geographical boundaries, fostering global communication and understanding. Platforms like Facebook and Twitter have enabled individuals to stay in touch with friends and family members around the world, bridging gaps and strengthening relationships. Additionally, social networks have democratized the dissemination of information, allowing users to share news, opinions, and personal stories in real time. This has empowered marginalized communities to amplify their voices and advocate for social change. An interesting fact is that during natural disasters or humanitarian crises, social networks have proven to be invaluable tools for coordinating relief efforts and mobilizing support. For example, in the aftermath of the 2010 Haiti earthquake, Twitter and Facebook were instrumental in connecting aid organizations with affected individuals and coordinating rescue missions. Social networks have also revolutionized the way businesses engage with consumers, providing a direct channel for marketing, customer service, and feedback. Companies can now reach a global audience with targeted advertising campaigns and personalized content, leading to increased brand awareness and customer loyalty. Moreover, social networks have facilitated the rise of online communities centered around shared interests, hobbies, and causes. Platforms like Reddit and Instagram have become hubs for like-minded individuals to connect, collaborate, and support each other. These communities have played a crucial role in raising awareness about important issues, promoting mental health initiatives, and fostering creativity and innovation. Another interesting aspect is the role of social networks in driving social movements and political activism. The Arab Spring uprisings in 2011, for instance, were fueled by social media platforms like Twitter and YouTube, enabling protesters to organize, mobilize, and document their struggle for democracy. Social networks have empowered individuals to challenge oppressive regimes, advocate for human rights, and hold governments accountable for their actions. In conclusion, the positive impacts of social networks on society are vast and multifaceted, shaping how we connect, communicate, and collaborate in the digital age. By leveraging the power of social networks for social good, we can create a more inclusive, informed, and connected world. Social networks, despite their many benefits, also have negative impacts on society that cannot be overlooked. One significant concern is the spread of misinformation and fake news on these platforms. With the ease of sharing content and the viral nature of social media, false information can quickly gain traction and mislead the public. This has serious implications for democracy, public discourse, and trust in institutions. An interesting fact is that a study by MIT researchers found that false news stories are 70% more likely to be retweeted than true stories, highlighting the challenge of combating misinformation online. Another negative impact of social networks is the erosion of privacy and data security. Users often unknowingly share personal information with third-party apps and advertisers, leading to concerns about surveillance, identity theft, and cyberbullying. The Cambridge Analytica scandal, where personal data of millions of Facebook users was harvested without their consent for political purposes, exposed the vulnerabilities of social networks in safeguarding user privacy. Additionally, the addictive nature of social media can have detrimental effects on mental health and well-being. Studies have shown a correlation between excessive social media use and feelings of loneliness, anxiety, and depression. The constant comparison to curated and idealized versions of others' lives on social networks can lead to low self-esteem and negative self-perception. An interesting aspect is that the term social media addiction is now recognized as a behavioral addiction, with symptoms resembling those of substance abuse disorders. Furthermore, social networks have been criticized for their role in amplifying echo chambers and polarizing public discourse. Algorithms that prioritize engaging content based on users' preferences can create filter bubbles, where individuals are exposed only to information that reinforces their existing beliefs. This can lead to increased polarization, intolerance, and the spread of extremist ideologies. In conclusion, while social networks have revolutionized communication and connectivity, it is essential to address and mitigate their negative impacts on society to ensure a healthy and informed digital ecosystem. The spread of misinformation on social networks has become a pressing concern in the digital age, with far-reaching consequences for individuals and society. One interesting fact is that false information spreads 6 times faster on social media platforms than true information, according to a study published in the journal Science. This phenomenon, known as the novelty bias, highlights the viral nature of misinformation and its ability to capture users' attention. Misinformation can take various forms, from deliberate hoaxes and propaganda to unintentional inaccuracies and misinterpretations. The lack of editorial oversight and fact-checking mechanisms on social networks makes it challenging to distinguish between credible information and falsehoods. Moreover, the echo chamber effect, where users are exposed only to content that aligns with their beliefs, can reinforce the spread of misinformation within closed networks. The COVID-19 pandemic has further exacerbated the spread of misinformation, with false claims about the virus, treatments, and vaccines circulating widely on social media. This infodemic has undermined public health efforts, sowed confusion and mistrust, and endangered lives. Addressing the spread of misinformation requires a multifaceted approach involving media literacy education, algorithmic transparency, and responsible content moderation. By promoting critical thinking skills and digital literacy, we can empower users to discern fact from fiction and combat the harmful effects of misinformation on social networks. Privacy concerns on social networks have become a growing issue in today's digital landscape. One interesting fact is that many users are unaware of the extent to which their personal data is collected, stored, and shared by social media platforms. From browsing habits and location data to contact lists and private messages, social networks have access to a wealth of sensitive information about their users. This data is often used for targeted advertising, algorithmic recommendations, and user profiling, raising questions about consent and transparency. The Cambridge Analytica scandal, where personal data of millions of Facebook users was harvested without their knowledge for political purposes, underscored the risks of lax privacy practices on social networks. Moreover, the proliferation of data breaches and cyber attacks targeting social media platforms has further heightened concerns about data security and protection. Users are increasingly wary of sharing personal information online, fearing identity theft, surveillance, and manipulation. The General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR, in the European Union and the California Consumer Privacy Act, CCPA, in the United States are regulatory efforts to enhance user privacy rights and hold companies accountable for data misuse. As we navigate the digital age, Safeguarding privacy on social networks is paramount to ensuring trust, security, and autonomy in the online sphere. The pervasive use of social networks has brought about a myriad of mental health effects, shaping how individuals perceive themselves and interact with others in the digital realm. One interesting fact is that studies have shown a correlation between excessive social media use and negative mental health outcomes, such as increased feelings of loneliness, anxiety, and depression. The constant exposure to curated and idealized versions of others' lives on social networks can lead to unrealistic comparisons and a sense of inadequacy. This phenomenon, known as social comparison theory, highlights the impact of social media on self-esteem and well-being. Moreover, the addictive nature of social networks can disrupt sleep patterns, decrease productivity, and exacerbate feelings of isolation. The constant notifications, likes, and comments on social media platforms trigger dopamine release in the brain, creating a cycle of reward and reinforcement that can lead to compulsive behavior. This fear of missing out, FOMO, drives users to constantly check their feeds, seeking validation and connection in a virtual space. The pressure to present a curated and flawless image online, known as impression management, can also contribute to feelings of stress, insecurity, and social anxiety. The fear of judgment and rejection by peers on social networks can lead to self-censorship and a distorted sense of reality. Cyberbullying and online harassment are prevalent on social media platforms, further exacerbating mental health issues among vulnerable populations. The anonymity and distance afforded by the digital medium can embolden individuals to engage in harmful behaviors, causing emotional distress and trauma to victims. The rise of cancel culture and public shaming on social networks has also raised concerns about the impact of online criticism and ostracism on mental well-being. Despite these challenges, social networks can also be a source of support, connection, and empowerment for individuals struggling with mental health issues. Online communities and peer support groups provide a safe space for sharing experiences, seeking advice, and finding solidarity. Mental health advocates and organizations leverage social media platforms to raise awareness, reduce stigma, and promote self-care practices. By fostering open conversations about mental health and digital well-being, we can harness the positive potential of social networks to support mental wellness and resilience in the digital age. Social networks play a pivotal role in shaping public opinion, influencing how individuals perceive and engage with current events, political issues, and societal trends. One interesting fact is that social media platforms have become primary sources of news and information for a significant portion of the population, surpassing traditional media outlets in reach and engagement. According to a Pew Research Center study, 68% of American adults get news from social media, highlighting the platform's influence on public discourse. The algorithmic curation of content on social networks, based on users' preferences and engagement patterns, creates personalized echo chambers that reinforce existing beliefs and perspectives. This phenomenon, known as filter bubbles, can limit exposure to diverse viewpoints and contribute to polarization and misinformation. The viral nature of content on social networks amplifies the spread of narratives, memes, and hashtags, shaping public conversations and driving agenda setting. During major events like elections, protests, and crises, social networks serve as hubs for real-time updates, citizen journalism, and grassroots mobilization. The Arab Spring uprisings in 2011, for example, were fueled by social media activism, enabling protesters to organize, communicate, and garner international support. Social networks have also democratized public participation in political discourse, allowing individuals to voice opinions, raise awareness, and hold leaders accountable. Hashtags like Black Lives Matter and Me Too have catalyzed social movements, sparking conversations about systemic injustices and advocating for change. Influencers and thought leaders on social networks wield significant influence over public opinion, shaping trends, attitudes, and consumer behavior. The rise of influencer marketing has transformed how brands engage with audiences, leveraging social media personalities to promote products and services. However, the authenticity and credibility of influencers have come under scrutiny, with concerns about sponsored content, undisclosed partnerships, and ethical practices. As social networks continue to evolve and permeate all aspects of society, understanding their role in shaping public opinion is essential for fostering informed, critical engagement with digital media. In conclusion, social networks have become powerful tools that shape how we connect, communicate, and engage with the world around us. While they offer numerous benefits, such as facilitating global communication, democratizing information access, and empowering marginalized voices, social networks also present significant challenges. From the spread of misinformation and privacy concerns to mental health effects and polarization of public opinion, the impact of social networks on society is complex and multifaceted. As we navigate the digital landscape, it is crucial to address these issues through a combination of individual responsibility, regulatory oversight, and technological innovation. Promoting media literacy, critical thinking skills, and digital well-being education can empower users to navigate social networks mindfully and responsibly. Regulatory frameworks that prioritize user privacy rights, data security, and transparency are essential to hold platforms accountable for their practices. Technological solutions, such as algorithmic transparency, content moderation tools, and ethical design principles can help mitigate the negative impacts of social networks on society. Looking ahead, the future of social networks will be shaped by ongoing debates about online governance, platform accountability, and user empowerment. Innovations in artificial intelligence, virtual reality, and decentralized technologies have the potential to transform how we interact with social networks and redefine digital communication. By fostering a culture of digital citizenship, empathy, and inclusivity, we can harness the positive potential of social networks to create a more connected, informed, and equitable society.